22.
22. This is
22, sir.
episode 22 of True
True
Crime. This is the St. Patrick's Day edition. And there seems to be a lot of tomfoolery that happened given the volume of stories we have. So let's let her rip.
Yeah, and all my Irish folks will know that this is actually Irish American Heritage Month pattern, which is why I brought up St. Patrick, and because it was just last week, so there you go, very relevant. Okay,
Sure.
so we're gonna start out with Greg Scruggs. Scruggs was a defensive end in the NFL for 5 seasons, 4 of which were with the Seahawks from 2012 to 2015. So he's been coaching in the collegiate and NFL level since 2018. Greg was supposed to be the new defensive line coach for Michigan until he resigned all of a sudden on March 21st. This appears to be directly linked to his arrest last Saturday on suspicion of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. According to Ann Arbor PD on Saturday, around 2 a.m., Scruggs stopped at an intersection with his hazard lights on. Greg said, at an intersection with the lights on when it was green. Greg said he was new to the area and he was lost. He'd been working late and was tired, and admitted he had drunk 2 drinks, it's always 2, 2.5 hours earlier. Scruggs' blood alcohol level was reportedly double the legal limit, and apparently this is going to get him, he stepped down voluntarily from his position, which is interesting because we discussed coaches who've done something very similar and don't step down, but I don't know, maybe there's something I don't understand. So bye Scruggs.
Bye.
Deuces. Okay, this guy's a lot, okay, so Darnell Collins, and this one was pretty big in the headlines, so that's why I'm bringing it up. The minor league baseball player of the KC Royals, Darnell Collins, was indicted by a federal grand jury in Utah last month. The 19-year-old disrupted a flight from the Netherlands to Utah. He's a Netherlands native. He started going ham 1 hour in and began getting loud and disruptive to fellow passengers, including physically tapping them. He followed another passenger and repeatedly touched her. She requested help from a flight attendant. He also approached another woman and grabbed her arm when she was exiting the bathroom. 2 individuals had to intervene for him to let go of her. 8 people were moved on the flight away from Collins. This seemed to anger him because he spit on a person, hitting 2 with his trajectory of spit. He cussed out another flight attendant. Then he got handcuffed after that with some flexi cuffs for the rest of the 9-hour flight. He is charged with interfering with the flight crew and assault by striking, beating, and wounding people. And he's currently in court. So that's a little fun from our minor leagues in baseball. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Y'all need to settle down.
Beautifully said. Seth McGowan. Things have been tough for this former Oklahoma Sooner, Seth McGowan. You probably all recognize him, I know. The former 4-star recruit was charged in 2021 for robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and assault and battery, which I might rename salt and butter, but we'll see, with a dangerous weapon in Oklahoma. He was charged with 2 other OU players. Allegedly, the 3 robbed a man who refused to sell Schmeed to McGowan. In December of 2023, Seth pled guilty to larceny of a person at nighttime, as opposed to daytime. The other charges were dismissed, and his other teammates did a kind of a diversion program, a regimented inmate discipline program, and got 1 year of probation. Seth tried to get into the program and was declined. Instead, he was sentenced last week, and he has to attend NA or AA meetings 3 times a week for a year, along with a substance, a boost, follow-up, and evaluation. Seth also has to pay $450 and do 60 hours of community service. He had one OU season at 2020. And things haven't gone well because his next season was playing JUCO football in 2023. So, do not rob people over Schmeed sales in Oklahoma, and because you'll be stuck in AA meetings all week long.
Wait, what?
Okay, this is you, Ryan.
Yeah, this one's a little. Cavs head coach JB Bickerstaff says he's been threatened by gamblers. Okay. Coach says he received threats from gamblers last season, and he reported it to the NBA. Says they got his phone number and were sending him messages about where he lived and his kids. He told security, and they found the gambler. No charges were filed, but they were located. Bickerstaff said gambling has made coaching more challenging. He claims fans have yelled at him during games to leave guys in to cover the spread. Also called for everybody involved in betting to be better protected. So I'm guessing like the players and coaches and shit like that. Especially since fans can bet while at the games. So that's pretty much everything with that story. He just had some gamblers getting after him because he wasn't covering the spread. I guess. Seems kind of light, right?
I've heard football players say stuff like people will yell at them like from the field. Oh, you have to do this and this and that for this game because like I bet on that. Like I can't. That one's pretty rough for me. Like I'm also a sports gambler and proud of it. Okay, but like,
yeah, are you proud of it?
Yeah, I am. But you can't just like come after people like that. Like,
no, he said there was a time where they were up by 10 and the spread was 11, and somebody's like, "Hey, leave them in. I got to cover the spread."
Yeah, because that's what really matters to Bickerstaff. This is his face when they said it too.
Definitely.
Yes.
He's like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, what do you think?
Read the chat.
Caleb's dadding right now, so we'll let him.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
All right. It'd be like that sometimes. We understand. Okay.
Be, sort of.
Jordan Dumas those teeth are really something, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Is that really his teeth?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
Not knocked out yet, so there's always hope. Okay, things aren't going well for this guy either. The NHL prospect Jordan Dumas, he played in the preseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets, but an injury sidelined him and affected his play at Halifax too in Canada, I think. The young man re-aggravated a hip injury and had a hernia surgery. So during the season, Dumas was hoping to rejoin Columbus next year, but his slip-up could make that complicated. He was rumored to have a DUI with an off-ice infraction, sidelining his health-impacted season even more. Jordan is missing 5 games, and maybe by the end of that, we can get actual information on his infraction. Because
Jordan dumbass.
Cheers. Exactly. We'll leave it there. Okay. Ryan, your turn.
Oh, God. This one's a little confusing because there's like 3 different stories to it.
Well, and this is very preliminary, and as we learn more, we'll tell more. So, we're just kind of reporting on what we know at the moment.
Yeah, and it's actually leading for some backlash on the internet community on Shohei. So, yeah, there's like conspiracy theories about it now that Shohei's making his interpreter be the fall guy, and he's the one placing the bet.
Yeah, I think Kate Middleton told us about why it's a bad idea to create conspiracy theories, and it makes you look like a really bad person when you do. But
it does, yeah.
I'm
not creating them.
Shohei had chemo, for example.
Yeah.
It would be awful. So anyway, tell me more about these conspiracy theories.
Oh no, I'm just saying like
No,
that.
I
It's
know.
one I've read.
I was kidding. I know.
Um,
And there's a possibility it could be true too.
yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No, he
but we're
seems like
not
a good.
saying that
Okay.
it is.
He was part of a massive theft, as in $4.5 million theft. Wednesday, lawyers for the Dodgers pitcher and designated hitter said he was a victim of a massive theft after reporters asked an Otani spokesman questions about why $4.5 million in wire transfers had been sent from Otani's bank account to a bookmaking operation. Yeah. The allegations came about the theft after his spokesman initially told ESPN that the slugger had transferred the funds to cover the gambling debts of Otani's former interpreter and friend. I can't pronounce his name.
It's
Caleb,
better to not try.
No. I was hoping Caleb would help me.
Nope, he can't. He's
No,
already
he's not coming to the aid.
He's
No.
still trying to get Incarnate down, so
Yeah. Oh, Incarnate.
Incarnate.
All right, that's enough.
Okay, go
Oh,
ahead. The interpreter, we all know the interpreter.
I have no idea what that guy's name is. I couldn't tell you to save my life.
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't
what
say.
we do know is that he's the interpreter. We all know him by face. I have no idea what his name is either, but I can tell you that he is that guy.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
He told ESPN that he and Otani had sat down and the two transferred the money in $500,000 increments in several different settings. But then he changed his story. Just as ESPN is getting ready to publish her story. He told them he had not been truthful. And Otani had no knowledge of his gambling activities, debts, or efforts to repay him. On Thursday, however, a source close to Otani gave an explanation for the changing storylines. As his handlers tried to determine what had happened, they initially relied solely on the interpreter, who continued to translate for Otani. Yeah.
Is it typical for people to have interpreters in baseball? I mean,
Just foreign players who can't really speak. He can speak English, he just doesn't choose to.
and I know in like the UFC they have that too. I don't know. Just curious. I probably wouldn't want the man who's possibly stealing my money to be doing my talking for me, but
yeah. ESPN had reviewed bank information showing Otani's name on two $500,000 payments sent in September and October. And it's a problem because, one, he could be the one placing the bets, and you're not supposed to bet on baseball, but it was bet on soccer. It's a bunch of wicked, crazy shit. But it's illegal to gamble, actually, in California still, which is shocking to me. Government-regulated sportsbooks require bettors to pay up front for their wagers, while legal bookmakers accept bets on credit, which is why it's such a big deal.
yeah, the MLB doesn't appreciate bookies, and I just don't know why.
I couldn't figure it out. Maybe some dude in the 80s, I don't know.
Could be.
When he had rosy cheeks or something. The bets were placed on international soccer matches and other sports, but not baseball, starting in 2021. This dude was either stealing money from Otani since 2021, and it added up to $4.5 million in 3 years, or Otani was helping out a friend trying to pay back his gambling debts. No one knows. Nobody knows.
You don't want to not pay them back. We learned that from The Sopranos. Okay.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Well, if you did, you would know that you need to pay them back.
Okay, if you insist.
Yes.
I did watch.
Oh, yes.
I did watch The Irishman, so
You get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so will we ever actually know? Because it's not like Otani is going to tell us, for one. And for two,
No, like
how do you actually know? And like, we can turn it around any type of way. And like, are they going to capture video footage of Otani going to the ATM one time? Like, I have no idea.
Jeff Passan said today that we are in the first inning of a 9-inning game in regards to this whole situation. So
Oh,
he seems to think that
absolutely.
there's tons more that's going to come out, but
We're going to break this baby wide open.
who knows?
We're gonna be every week. We're gonna be talking. You're gonna hate the to hear that name, every week. You're gonna be like, oh, there's another update on the situation because we're gonna be on it.
yeah. They're under federal. The transfers are under federal investigation right now.
Mm.
Yeah, but the interpreter was fired almost immediately after news broke. So
Well, that's good. That's important.
tis important. Yes.
So why do we think it was the interpreter again? I'm sorry, I'm confused about that part because it's Otani's account, right?
Yeah, there's like 3 different stories going on. It was Otani was helping him pay back a gambling debt. The dude stole from Otani, or
But
he
used his bank account to do it.
yeah, or he took money from Otani to place a bet as the fall guy.
From his bank account. So like,
Says yes.
Yeah, it's not like he wouldn't have been able to see.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Let me throw this out there. Could the interpreter not be involved at all?
That's not
Yeah,
seen right now.
But it could be a possibility, is what I'm saying.
100% could be.
Yeah.
And
As
that
of right now, with the
just,
information we have, that is not a possibility. But yes, it could be a possibility.
I mean, with the information we have, anything is a possibility. So, like, this guy could be the fall guy for something he had nothing to do with.
right, and it's probably pre-discussed that, hey, if this ever gets popped up, like, we're just gonna axe you and make you look like you were the one that did it, and I'll pay you handsomely.
In
After I
$4.5
pay the
million.
bookie.
He's making like almost $500,000 a year as a interpreter for him.
Right. Like, this is, like, pretty small money for Otani anyway, right? Like,
Considering his contract he has now, yeah, that's very small money.
yeah, I think he can
100%.
handle it.
That's like a quarter for a gumball.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on these two gentlemen. Do you have anything else on it, Ryan?
No, that's pretty much it. And it's a twisty, turny road.
Oh, it sure is. And we'll be keeping an eye on it because you can only know so much just early on, you know? All right.
Yeah.
So, oh, yours again. Look at
Oh,
that.
goodness gracious. This
The
freaking guy.
The only photo I could get was his mugshot, so it's what we're rolling with because I couldn't figure out if he was. Never
Looks
mind.
like he hasn't had a shower in a couple of days.
Yeah, he definitely looks different than in some of the. But you know, your mugshot's usually not your best day, so.
Could have at least gave him a shower before he took his picture. Man. Anyways. I'm guessing his name is Somak Sarkar.
Somak Sarkar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a former Timberwolves coaching analyst. He was fired and arrested and charged with felony third-degree burglary for allegedly stealing thousands of internal files, including strategic NBA information from a team executive. He served as a coaching analyst for the Timberwolves and is now in custody. Had a court hearing on Thursday. The team is not pursuing criminal charges. On February 2nd, Sachin Gupta. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Just go with Gupta.
Gupta. He was a Timberwolves executive that oversees team analytics department. Left a hard drive connected to a laptop in his office. The drive contained Gupta's personal financial information. plus private information for the team, including employment and player contracts. And this dude stole it.
Or accidentally found it where he was
Either one.
told it would be.
Either way, this dude was.
I'm just all about, speculation is my thing today, I guess.
Suppose. So yeah. He had a hearing on Thursday, which today's Friday, right? Yeah. He had a hearing yesterday.
So what you're telling me is Sarkar here. He took this information. Did he use it problematically? I'm sorry, maybe you mentioned that.
So when Gupta returned to work on February 5th, the hard drive was missing. Subsequent surveillance reviewed by security revealed that Sarkar had twice entered Gupta's office on February 3rd. After looking to see if anyone could see him, the complaint says he then left. He was fired immediately, the complaint says. Another employee was able to recover the hard drive from Sarkar, and the team determined after a forensic analyst that he had accessed more than 5,000 files and downloaded them onto another device. So yeah, to answer your question, he used them incorrectly.
Well, he probably still has them somewhere.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah,
Oh my.
The police executed a search warrant at his home where they found several hard drives, a computer, and 3 tablets. The second warrant revealed that one of the devices contained information from Gupta's hard drive. When questioned by police, he said that as a member of the coaching staff, he had the hard drive to put some stuff on it, but he forgot to return it. Lies.
Well, he's not very stealthy.
This dude was transferred out of Gupta's department in August 2023, and to the coaching staff because of poor job performance. That's all I got to say about that.
That is funny. And then he comes back the next day and he's like, "Oh, this has all your personal information on it." Oh. Okay, well, you know what? All speculation. We'll keep an eye on Sarkar for everyone.
Sure, yeah.
Yep. All right, so Jay, who's here last week for the true crime segment, let me know, put me on the trail for this one. Blaze Taylor. So I'm gonna tell a bit of a story. For female serial killers, poison is a common method to facilitate the passing of life. Former Arkansas State player and son of Texas A&M associate head coach Blaze Taylor is allegedly trailblazing that in the male persuasion. Taylor was indicted this Wednesday in Nashville by the state's grand jury and was arrested in Utah, where he lived Thursday. Allegedly, Blaze fatally poisoned his girlfriend and their unborn fetus in 2023 in Tennessee on February 25th. After he visited his girlfriend, she called 911 saying she thought she had an allergic reaction. She lost the baby 2 days later, and then she passed away on March 6th of 2023. Taylor is currently facing 2 counts of first-degree M, and we don't know what all went down, but I'm certainly curious. And apparently, the evidence that the grand jury got that indicted him was from like the medical examiner and a toxicology report. So hopefully we'll get some information on that, but we have reason to believe that some possible medical information may have been presented. So yep, we'll keep an eye on this trailblazer. All right. So in a possibly a nice change of pace or not, your perspective, is not what NBA legend Paul Pierce did, it's what was done to him for once. The former star was a victim of a recent rash of LA burglaries last weekend. Late Friday night, robbers took some of his luxury watches, over $100K in cash that he had at his house, and a whole entire safe. They just took the safe because they couldn't open it while he wasn't home. Police are using footage from his video cameras, like around the house, to hopefully find the robbers. While hunting down the story, I also found out that you can see what Conor McGregor's mama gave him in the movie Roadhouse for any interested fans, because his naked butt cheeks were out there. So if you want to see that, Roadhouse, UFC fans. So anyway, Paul Pierce is now down about 100K, some watches, and an entire safe. So that's more money than any of us have on our bank accounts put together. So there's that, but a little change of pace. All right, so we all heard about Cameron Sutton. He's no longer a lion, but he's still on the loose. Yeah. Sutton was cut by the team on Thursday. He might have been too much trouble considering he's appears to be allegedly in hiding after a warrant was issued for his arrest in Florida on Wednesday. Allegedly, Cameron is being charged with domestic battery by strangulation. We will likely know more when Sutton is no longer missing, but that's all we know for now, folks. So we will keep an eye on this one. If you see him, say something. I guess that would probably be good. We all know what he looks like because he's been all over the headlines for the last week. Any thoughts, gentlemen, on Paul or Cameron? Yes, Cameron.
Nice to see Paul stop pooping his pants in public.
Is he related to Cortland Sutton?
No, that's not the same guy.
Paul
He's the
Pierce?
wheelchair guy?
Paul Pierce, yeah, he pooped his
Yes.
pants in the NBA Finals in 2008 and said, "Oh, I had cramps." And he went,
Yes.
Bro,
I
why
when
is
I
your
did the clinch walk article about
yeah?
DK Metcalf, I wrote about
Yeah.
him. Oh my gosh.
This dude's been lying for years. He had a brown
Oh.
stain on his ass.
I am so excited because any updates I'll give, I'll have to bring that up every single time.
He poo-pooed his panties and lied about it. He was embarrassed.
I saw it. It was
Then he comes back.
embarrassing.
He came back after he defecated in the toilet. Came back and like shredded the Lakers, and I was very mad.
He should have just done what DK did. And
What the hell you laughing about, Caleb?
Caleb has no words about number 2 today. All right.
Yeah, number 2. Yeah.
I love that. I had no idea that was when they said he was a former star. I didn't know that was okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this one's for you, Caleb. The Chicago Bears are being sued right now.
Oof.
Well, probably one of many.
Oh, hey, quick question. Was the yard equipment ever found from the Bears facility?
It was not the Bears field equipment per se. It was the city of Chicago's, but no, as far as I know, I haven't heard anything about it.
Same difference.
Yeah,
What's
I
that?
checked up on it.
It was being held at Soldier Field, was it not?
Ryan, I'm not here to argue semantics, sir.
Right, and we have a current lawsuit. So, DePaul University College of Law student, Jonathan Bresser is putting his degree to use. He's currently suing the Chicago Bears because he was denied an opportunity due to being a white male. Okay, excuse me.
He sounds like a loser, like the DePaul basketball team.
Due to presumably the lack of diversity in the lawyer field and the football administrative one, the Chicago Bears had a summer fellowship to give local law students a internship. In November 2023, Bresser applied for the fellowship that listed being a woman and or a person of color as a requirement on the list. He was denied to the program in January for no stated reason. Bresser will have to prove that his race and gender are what disqualified him and not his underwhelming resume. Likewise, the Bears will have to prove that let me see, another candidate was more qualified for reasons other than race and gender. So that's going to be fun. Jonathan claims that the Bears also attempted to backtrack his initial decline that was sent, and he filed the lawsuit last week. So they probably just wanted to stop hear him whining, but we will find out. So some hot water again, Caleb. It's a place you guys normally are in, right? We've been covering the Chicago Blackhawks quite a bit, so
Yeah, we're very comfortable
yeah, in court.
in the
Yep.
hot seat. So
We'll be following
bring it on,
Jonathan
Jonathan.
and his crusade for white men
Yeah,
very
bring it on,
closely.
dude. Bring it.
All right, Leicester City. Okay, now this one, because I don't know that much about soccer or the name of this league. I had to Google that. My boyfriend had to help me with this one, so this is how I know all this stuff. Okay, so bear with me. They're on the hot seat for alleged breaches of financial rules, just like who was the other team? The NFL team, Ryan? Who was the one who was having financial problems for lying about the cap or whatever?
Oh, that's the Niners.
Yes,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
The
So
administrative,
Leicester-
yeah. Yep.
Leicester City is the Niners of the English Premier League. So in the English Premier League, you're not allowed to make losses of 105 million pounds over a 3-year span. So like, yeah, like your net losses have to be less than 105 million pounds after 3 years. They made losses way over that and failed to submit their financial accounts to the league. The team is potentially facing fines or point losses. And so this is interesting. So in the English Premier League, they have points for winning. So you get like 3 points every time you win. So it's like they're taking away wins. So it can like get you out of like the top of the league, you know, because they're stripping your leagues. And so like sometimes it's 4 points, sometimes it's 6 points. One team got 10 points, so it can be like a big factor. And the problem is and this is also really interesting. So the English Premier League is like the top league, and they have like all these like mini leagues underneath them. So it's kind of like the minor leagues for baseball, for example. And so they're demoted to the league below the English Premier League, which is pretty normal, I guess. A lot of teams fluctuate. So if they get put, the problem is the English Premier League can't deduct points from them if they're not in the league to be deducted from, because currently they're in a different league. So while they figure out if these like financial issues were on purpose, then they're gonna have to figure out what the punishment will be and how they will actually punish them when they're not in the league. They're in another league. And so that's confusing. It is a new problem for them. I guess they haven't really encountered a time when they're trying to punish someone who's no longer in their league, but could come back into their league. So, we will be keeping an eye on Leicester City and how they're going to handle this little scandal. So any soccer fans out there, I know that this was quite interesting to you. All right. So that one ex-Jag employee, the one that pled guilty to stealing $22 million from the Jaguars, Amit Patel, due to his gambling addiction. Well, that was a long sentence that made sense until now. So he had a gambling addiction, and so he lost the 22 million in FanDuel and DraftKings. Last week they sentenced him to 6.5 years, and he has to repay $21 million to the Jags. So that's the gambling is just really coming up here a lot this week. And I'm just gonna say that if we had more transparency about the topic and clearer rules about the topic, obviously stealing is never okay. But like if we were more open about the topic instead of whispering about bookies, we might be able to actually have some clarity on this problem. But anyway, don't mind me. Okay. Christian Horner, y'all know about this one, right? The Formula One guy. Ginger Spice. Yeah. So Ginger Spice has given her husband a list of rules for him to behave. Help keep him on the straight and narrow while he travels. For example, while she's monitoring, or I from what I understand, the list is that she knows who he's speaking to and when is one of them. And apparently he's very hurt by the lack of trust, to which I say, yeah, but your dirty text got allegedly leaked. So, but anyway, that's a mess. But meanwhile, the lady who accused Horner of inappropriate conduct in an HR complaint with their alleged spicy text release has hired a PR firm and filed a complaint with the FIA Ethics Committee regarding her suspension after, so she made an allegation. They said, no, you're wrong. We're going to suspend you. Now she's going to PR and the FIA Ethics Committee, and FIA stands for Federation Internationale des Automobiles. And I think that's French or something. And so apparently there's some hot goss going around that Max Verstappen might be on his way out. And Red Bull is currently crapping its pants because this conspiracy has not conspiracy, but this event has not gone over as smoothly as they were hoping. So Christian Horner is in trouble at work and at home. Anything about that, gentlemen? Let's talk about your list of rules, okay? Let's go.
I travel quite a bit, and I have not had a breach of trust moment yet, so there's not a list of rules for myself. But I guess stand by.
Right.
I don't know what to say about that one.
As soon as the spicy texts are out, we'll follow that up.
Yes, and I'm sure that once they're out, everybody's gonna know about them. So.
Well, we will, and we'll put you on blast. You're welcome.
That's fair.
Yep.
Appreciate you holding me accountable.
Dirtbag of the week.
Oh, come on.
Richard Sherman here. He just claims his absence on Undisputed was planned and not in result of being charged with a second DUI. And claims he'll be back when football topics are getting hotter, because free agency wasn't hot at all. But he says he'll be back, and so we'll see if he was. Like on Amazon and all the other things. We will keep an eye. All right. Michael Thomas. Y'all remember the whole brick through a window thing with landscapers across the street debacle last year? Okay. In typical dysfunctional New Orleans style, Thomas's lawyer met with the mayor and reported that the charges were being dismissed. The prosecutor in Kenner PD said the charges are not dismissed, so we don't actually. So there's that fun. Are they dismissed? Are they not? Anyway, it appears that Thomas is now in a 6-month pretrial diversion program, which means if he behaves, the charges can be, but don't have to be, but will probably be dismissed at the end of the 6 months. So they remain open. And then if he doesn't behave, then he gets the charges are still there for him to be in trouble for. So we got Michael Thomas in a diversion program. Ryan, do you like diversion programs?
Definitely.
Love that. Second chances for the brick throwers.
Yeah.
Alleged. Corey Perry. Allegedly, Perry faced a higher standard of conduct put into place after Brad Aldrich happened, which ended up backfiring for the Blackhawks because they had to pay Corey in an undisclosed statement over his termination, settlement over his termination. So they're like, you get fired because you're acting up, which we still don't have the full deets on. He's like, I don't like that. And they're like, look, we had Brad Aldrich around, so now we have to be careful with how people behave around here. And he's like, I don't like that. So then he files a complaint about being unlawfully terminated, and they have to pay him anyway. So the Blackhawks can't do it right no matter how they do it. Caleb, what do you think about the dysfunction going on there?
Kind of sounds like a dickhead. So
Yeah, that's fair.
because now that they're trying to do the right thing, then yeah, whatever.
Maybe they did ignore Brad Aldrich, who had a record.
No, they definitely did. But
Yeah,
now
but they
that
were not going to ignore Perry.
everybody is from that regime is gone though. This is a completely new front office, and so
And they're like, "You're gonna behave, okay? No, alleged drunken moments at the team party.
yeah. And he's like, "No, you're gonna freaking pay me."
Yeah, you can't
So-
terminate me because I'm trying to get help or whatever. 'Cause
They,
you're not supposed to terminate people for having an addiction. I don't believe. I think that's
I believe that is legal. Yes.
yes. Oh, you're supposed to offer them help, and then if things, yeah. So anyway, that's probably what it was, but we don't actually know because they haven't told us anything. So like, that's what we're speculating.
Not even a word.
Yep, always above board over there in Chicago. Wander Franco is expected to be moved off the roster by opening day, which surprises no one, and we've been discussing for a while. And he continues to share videos like this week of him baseballing in the DR for no obvious or important reason. So he continues to show us from what appears to be like almost tropical looking baseball fields where he is still doing his thing. And we are like so stonewalled so hard on his case. So I'm keeping an eye all the time, but the biggest news is that he's supposed to be moved off the roster, which is like duh. Anyway, KC parade shootings, a update on that. A third adult, Terry J. Young, is being charged with second degree M. He's one of the arrested minors charged has his charges have been released. He has unlawful use of a weapon, which is an unclassified felony, and I did not look enough into what that actually means. I do know, unfortunately, in my state of origin, exactly what all the classes mean, not because I have one, but I guess it means that it's not like C, B, or A. So, I might look into that. And there's going to be a hearing on whether or not the 15-year-old will stand trial as an adult or not. So, that is interesting. Yep. So now we're on 3 adults who are being charged, and 2 adults are being charged with the only casualty at the parade. Miss Lisa Lopez, I believe she had a hyphenated last name. I can't remember the other, but the radio DJ there in Kansas City, I believe that they have forensics that prove that bullets that passed through her came from their firearm. So, yep. All right. Draymond Green. So his therapy is going swimmingly, as we know. On Wednesday, things got spicy, and I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna be an apologist or whatever, but like things went really south, and he didn't help that, but he didn't cause it all either. Okay, and we're gonna talk about it. So on Wednesday, things got spicy. Green contested Grizzlies Santi Aldama, so like I think that means he was like guarding him. With Aldama feeling Green made inappropriate contact. So in retaliation, Santi bumped Green. In response, Green grabbed Santi by the jersey and told him, "Don't do that," before pushing him and running away. And this is where it got ugly. Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins spoke to a ref requesting a penalty on Draymond, which is understandable. Draymond was listening to the conversation, which is not ideal, but I believe he's allowed to do that. So anyway, Desmond Bain didn't like it though. So he came over and tried to move him out of the way. Green pushed Bain's hands off of him. And this was the source of a melee. For some reason, this like between Vane laying hands on him and him pushing off the hands. This incited everybody to pour off of the sidelines and all come together into onto the the court. So Green was pushed into the Grizzlies head coach Jenkins during the melee, and it sent the head coach to the ground. So it's kind of sort of looked like he pushed him to the ground. I mean, you can tell that he got pushed and then knocked him over, but it still wasn't a good look. And so Green and Vane both received a technical foul for that, which makes sense to me. But not a good sign from a guy who is already kind of in trouble for his spicy behavior on the field. Ryan, you want to tell us how much you don't care for Draymond Green's behavior?
Clown. Big ass clown.
Certified clown.
All right, I'll get a
Priority Mail Express clown.
You know the stamp that they have at like court when they like seal? I'll get one of those that says clown on it for us.
Yeah, we need that.
He's
Yeah,
such a
that's what
clown.
we-
I want nothing to do with Draymond.
So Tyreek Hill is, I believe last week we discussed about the domestic dispute, but I'm not sure. Between Tyreek Hill and his wife, that brought police to their house back in January. We've been kind of talking about this because that has to do with like the whole like divorce, no divorce, fire the attorney, like arguments about the post-nup that we've been discussing. So a cousin of Hill's wife called the Popo after she was on the phone with Hill's wife and heard Tyreek screaming in the background. The couple had been, according to Hill's wife, arguing over the post-nup, his divorce filings, and him removing her from his social media accounts. Hill's wife also alleged that he smashed an unlit cigar into her face. Hill described it as flicking the cigar and that it didn't hit her. No visible marks were on Hill's wife, so the police left without charging anyone due to no evidence and conflicting stories. So that's great. I thought that was really interesting because almost in every single state in America, you have to arrest at least one. I know like Gabby Petito's case, like really discussed that. Like the person that the police believe is the primary aggressor of either gender has to be detained so that there's like one, a consequence, and two, like a separation between the two for at least a night until the person is like unveiled the next day. So I thought it was really interesting that they left the scene without detaining anyone because that is really rare. But maybe they just do things different down in Florida, which I would believe. So Tyreek Hill is cigaring over there. Any thoughts on that, gents?
Sorry, I couldn't get this thing to mute. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just different because Tyreek Hill. If
Yeah.
it was one of me or Ryan, we probably would have went to jail.
Yeah.
Thanks, guy. Thanks. Appreciate it.
And I kind of think like I've been seeing a lot of headlines while covering this saying like that fans and people in it, at least fans, are really frustrated and kind of want to like get rid of him because he's just too much trouble because something is always coming out about him, whether it be the influencer with the broken leg or like the house is on fire, the allegations about one of his children having a broken limb in his house, breaking a limb in his house and how that happened. Like there's just like a lot of things that are going on. And so like I was kind of surprised because I feel like this is not unusual, but apparently some fans are just not thrilled that he's always doing something. So I feel like he's more low key than a lot of other people we cover, but I don't know. I'm not a Miami Dolphins fan, and I covered true crime all the time, so maybe I just have a desensitized concept about what is a problem. But I'm like, this is really tame when we have people like allegedly like wouldn't slamming that lady on her back, body slamming her into the ground. Yeah, like we hear some things, so a little cigar here and there. I'm like, whatever. But anyway,
yeah.
Okay. So, oh yeah, this one, I'm coming in hot with the goss here.
Well, here we go.
Yep, the Spygate scandal. Caleb, you're gonna want to hear this one. Former Pennsylvania Senator Arlen Specter urged back in the Spygate scandal days in 2007, urged the NFL to look into Spygate closer, suggesting that Congress could help if needed. Quoting, if the NFL continues to leave a vacuum, Congress may be tempted to fill it. We're talking about investigating Spygate. Specter also wrote to the commissioner about the destruction of the videotapes happening. In Specter's memoir, one of his memoirs, he wrote that a mutual friend of Specter and Robert Kraft offered a lot of money to inspire the mutual friend to inspire the senator to drop demands of further investigations. According to the son of the senator and the late senator's communication aide and ghostwriter for said memoir, or at least I believe both memoirs have come public with the info that the friend that the senator was referring to, his name rhymes with Ronald Rump. An
Hey,
individual.
be careful with that. Be careful with that.
I know. I didn't say it. I said
Okay,
it's a
okay.
name that rhymes with rump. An individual who is oh yes, this individual is allegedly friends with Kraft, Belichick, and the franchise at large. Even showing up in their locker rooms, back in the 2000s for like events.
Oy.
It's unclear. Now, this is interesting. It's unclear if the financial offer is actually problematic legally. It may or may not be. So you may be able to bribe your senator to ignore things.
Maybe. Should
Yeah,
you try?
the
Maybe
statute of
not.
limitations is already over, so that's not what this is all about. But it's interesting that what appears to be sketchy may be fine. I don't know all the legal words, but apparently, theoretically, any individual could try to inspire investigation going no further with money and that being okay. So I thought that that was interesting. Just like in general. But now we know a little bit more about Spygate, and it's just fascinating. The more we find out, because of the Dynasty episode with Apple TV, like getting in deep in there, the more that we're finding out. Caleb, any thoughts on that? All right. Oh, okay. Caleb's got to actually dad. Okay. It's just me and Ryan. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm running out of time too. So
Okay. Well,
I gotta
maybe
I gotta
podcast
dad my
along about
dogs.
baseball, we would have time. So, Antonio Brown is back at it on Twitter again because Sexy Red posted a photo smoking and dancing along to his rock song in a car. AB commented with a meme of children holding their noses during a school fire drill with the words, ooh, bitch, it stank. In response, Red shared a meme that showed the frontal cross-section of a regular brain and one with advanced CTE next to each other. Under the photo, there's a person who's wearing a football helmet and drooling and trying to fit a diamond shape into a circular hole. Like one of those kid toys.
Oh my god.
I honestly like go check it out on Twitter X because I was here for all of it. Like that is the best. Okay. Also, AB is defying court orders by not paying a jeweler back $1 million for the jewelry he would not return. We've been discussing that. AB ignored the lawsuit entirely, so the guy won. And apparently he's ordering the court order too for now. So Von Miller, Bill's GM, appeared to suggest at the beginning of the month that Miller's charges would go away, the DV charges, away like the Spygate tapes. So we will keep an eye.
Okay.
Yep. Um. Okay. Did you hear about the new Louis Rabiali stuff?
The name sounds familiar.
Not the okay. He's the one who forcibly kissed the soccer.
Oh, yeah,
soccer player.
yeah.
Yeah, but there's more. Holy
Mm,
carp! Rubiales is in it. He is in the hot water. The Spanish Civil Guard investigators raided his house on Tuesday. One of his houses, he has multiple, as well as the Spanish Soccer Federation headquarters. The investigators are looking into alleged criminal acts associated with corruption in business, unfair administration, and money laundering, possibly in the DR. Lewis is also being investigated separately for allegations of hiring detectives to spy on the head of Spain's player union, misusing federation funds for personal expenses, and hosting a quote sex party in Granada in 2020.
That's gross.
An arrest warrant has been issued on Wednesday for Lewis. He is currently in a different country, and whenever he decides to come back, he'll go in the slammy. So Rubiales is in it.
Clang, clang.
Clang, clang. And it all started with a young lady who spoke up, and I just love it. Okay, Kyle Walker, his wife, Annie Kilner, is about to give birth to the couple's fourth baby together this month. Friends and family are allegedly telling her to leave Walker in the dirt. A source said the whole situation has broken Annie and she's scared to do life without him. She doesn't want a single mom it. Okay. She's spoken with him a lot. Will she take him back? Will he make a third love child with his mistress of however many years? Nobody knows.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Could be both, frankly. And
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart.
This guy.
This made me sad. After an injury-riddled beginning to his season, then he had the scuffle with Drew Eubanks where allegedly some teeth were knocked loose. Then he had a season, now his season's officially over. So Isaiah, he has grown on me for some reason, and I'm sad to see him go. Well, his season end this way anyway. On Monday, Isaiah had a season-ending injury to his hamstring, and so he's out 5,000. Yeah, which is tough because he was trying to like do in theory, Draymond Green and like repair his rep, and kind of hard to do that when you're sidelined. But
It's not like he had much play for the year, anyways.
Well,
being in Detroit.
And fascinatingly, on Wednesday, his fellow Pistons teammate Oscar Thompson was out with a blood clot. A surprising health problem for somebody of his age and like activity level. I was like, what is going on over there in Denver? I mean, in Detroit. But
yeah. Yeah.
that's all we have today, folks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good shit. Good shit this week.
Lots of hot goss out there. We are the hot goss, like, aficionados. So be ready in 2 weeks. We mentioned in the tailgate update, but we won't be here next week because of a lot of things. So in 2 weeks, be ready for a true crime extravaganza. Okay, because I know he behaves, so it's only gonna pile. And we will come in with the hot goss like we always do. And all right, so like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Ding. And let us know what you think. What stories are standing out to you? Which ones am I forgetting that you'll remind me of? Any cases, any thoughts? Did we forget something about a case that we didn't mention that's already out there? Keep in mind this was filmed on Friday night on the 22nd. So if anything happens after that, we'll have it in 2 weeks. So yeah, let us know. And thank you so much for listening to us every week. We appreciate it.
Amen. What the hell happened here?
Recording a little bit of Lucy, cat can.